Good morning, my friends. My name is Rabbit, and it is with great enthusiasm and excitement that I welcome you to our brand new Let's Play project for Hoshigami, Ruining Blue Earth. Now, I know that quite a few of you are likely scratching your heads and very confused by this pick. Most of you probably haven't even heard of this game before, which is justified. I know that just in and of itself, its release wasn't the most, renowned and the most popular. I don't think this was the kind of game that everyone was talking about in school and, cutting class early for seventh period to rush home and play either by themselves with their siblings or with their friends and neighbors. So I totally understand why this one is a bit more obscure than some of the other strategy or tactical RPGs out there. But this is a personal favorite of mine, or at least one that I hold in fairly high regard and is a bit near and dear to me. So I don't think there's actually going to be a bit of a cutscene. I'm pretty sure there's not. If there was going to be one, hopefully it would have been triggered by now. So we are actually going to just hop on in here, and I will kind of quickly run through my own personal intro, and then we will just dive right in. I don't really want this to be too long because this is the kind of game that I think, diving in and letting you guys just experience it is going to do it far more justice than any personal introduction I can give. So just to sort of run through the basics that you can already see on the screen, we can credit Atlas and Max 5 for this bad boy. It was released in, I think, the US. It came out in 2001. So my personal experience with this title, my brother had purchased it when we were kiddos, and he's the one who, hey, I was wrong. There is a cutscene for this. So we'll just kind of let this go through. In the Age of Legends, the people of Ixia and the elemental spirits lived together, holding respect for each other. Some humans were able to listen to the spirits' voices and communicate with them. They were known as the Hoshigami. But peace was brought to a sudden end by a man with the ability to confine the power of the spirits. His name was Villa. Villa created the formidable Marselva and stored the power of countless spirits in them. With this power, capable of destroying the entire continent, he laid the kingdom of Ixia to waste and proclaimed himself the supreme ruler of the continent. The spirits went into hiding in fear of being captured by Villa, their trust in humans completely lost. The great elemental spirit Elvila grieved over what had taken place and planned to eliminate the humans by destroying the continent. However, she fell in love with Sarnas, the last remaining Ixian. She had to get that sweet duh. She granted him power and promised that the spirits will continue to sustain the continent. Sarnas and the 6 Hoshigami defeated Villa and sealed the Marselva. He restored Ixia and became king of the reborn country. The war came to an end, and peace returned to the land, but the relationship between humans and the spirits remained lost. This is a story of long ago. Sorry, there was like a small set of 4 words that I missed because it was just scrolling by a bit fast, but hopefully you had a chance to kind of read through it yourself, and hey, that's pretty sweet that it actually did have a cutscene. I don't think I've ever, if you could call it that, I guess more of a prologue, if you will. I don't think I've ever watched that before, but I'm going to quickly hop over here into the options menu just so that that doesn't display again. So again, like I was starting to say for my own little personal intro, my brother had picked this up when we were kiddos, so many, many years ago. It is September 16th of 2017 as I am sitting down getting ready to initiate this playthrough of the game. And it's been a few years since I've really played through it. When we were children, he and I kind of passed it off back and forth just due to the heightened difficulty of the title, which is also one of the reasons why I think the game never really caught on and became that popular. I think it, in general, just has a lot of mixed reviews, even from people who have happened to play it and maybe appreciated certain parts of it. The game has an insane learning curve. I'm just going to be straightforward with you guys about that. There are so many variables that you need to take into account, not only with the combat, but just with other little features that support the combat, which will all make sense once we dive in, which is why I was saying I don't want this to be like a 10-minute intro of me talking about my past with the game and the game itself. You guys can go to a Wikipedia page or go to a game FAQs page and read all about the history of the game. That is not why I am here. I'm not here to break down the history of it so much as just to play it for you and talk about my personal experiences. So if that's what you're looking for, you've come to the right place. I do want to note that this will not be a walkthrough or any sort of like 100% run or guide, if that's even such a thing for this title. This is a semi-blind playthrough, and I say semi-blind to come back again to my statement about how my brother and I kind of passed it on back and forth. So we played it simultaneously. I would watch him go through some segments. He would watch me go through some segments. If there was an area that he was just frustrated with or found particularly difficult, he would tell me, Rabbit, you deal with this. I don't want to play this part. And he would leave and I would play for 2 hours solo. And vice versa. If I ran into a hurdle and I just didn't have the energy anymore to deal with it, I would just leave, let him play it, or one of us would play late into the evening and try to catch the other one up to speed. So because of these reasons, there are parts of the game that I never saw or I didn't play through myself, or that I only vaguely remember just because, 2001 was a really long time ago. We're knocking on 16 years since we had purchased this game. And although I did dabble with it a little bit more, I would say, was it 2014 or 2015, I played through about 20 hours, which I would say is roughly half of the game. I think most people that play it take anywhere from 40 to 50 hours. I'm thinking this game, for the purpose of this Let's Play, will probably be closer to 40 hours, maybe a wee bit over that time mark. But, we'll just have to see. We're not hard-pressed for time. There's no goal or anything that I'm trying to necessarily achieve, so much as just to meander through, have you guys in tow. And like I said, there will be some areas where, I remember exactly what I need to do, where I need to go, where everything is, and I know how to optimize my party for that area. But I will let you know, there are going to be places that I don't remember what's going on, or I only partially recall what to do, and I might misremember, which could result in some very tragic choices for me. Maybe entertainment for you. I don't know. I guess we'll just see how all of that unfolds. So again, very excited to be undertaking this for all of you. If you have never heard of this game before, I would highly encourage you looking into it and reading about it yourself. Like I said, Atlas, I believe, was the publisher, and Max 5 was the development team that kind of worked on this. I pretty much love everything that Atlas has had a hand in, so I don't know, maybe I'm biased, and that was, part of the reason why I decided to opt to play this for you guys following the completion of our blind Let's Play of Grandia 2 Anniversary Edition, which just concluded. So, I wanted to do something that wasn't completely blind, but I didn't think that doing another walkthrough would be the best right now. I sort of like having a less structured playthrough going on while I have other projects happening. So those are some of the reasons why I chose to undertake this. So for those of you that are confused or completely surprised because you have played this game before and you think, oh my gosh, Rabbit, I never would have guessed this for you. It's a strategy RPG. You've never really played a strategy RPG on the channel before. Unless you want to argue that Rhapsody: A Musical Adventure did have like that grid combat system, but I would hardly consider that to be a tactical RPG, and I hope you don't either. But if you want to reach, I guess you could say that is that style of game, but very easy, very straightforward, not a lot of planning involved on my behalf as the player, but this game's going to require a lot of forethought, and I'm probably going to make mistakes and have to do some reloading. Some battles might only last 15 minutes, but we might have some episodes that are 30, 40 minutes because they're just going to take a long time. I'm going to do my best to not cut too many fights, and at least for the episodes where maybe I'm just dungeon crawling or, I don't know, just trying to do some grinding, because the game can be a bit grind heavy, which is another criticism of it. But I mean, it's an RPG. Most RPGs have grinding, whether they are tactical or just your standard turn-based style for combat. I think you can't really get around it with the genre unless you're playing a game that's a little bit easier, or I don't know, just not as complex and complicated. But either way, for episodes that do not feature a lot of the battles themselves, or there's not a lot of plot development going on, you can count on them running anywhere from maybe 15 to 17 minutes. But as I already noted, episodes that are heavy on story or are longer battles, they might be 45 minutes. So I'm not going to try to promise you guys that videos are going to fall within a specific range. Usually I like to keep episodes under 20 minutes. That 15 to 17 minute time stamp seems to be pretty good for the attention span of most people and for me, because I like to take breaks too after recording a couple episodes. But we'll just see how things go. Whew. Well, looks like I'm a liar, and this intro did end up taking 10 minutes, but we did get a 3-minute cutscene. Was it 3 minutes? I don't know. Maybe a little less than that. Maybe more like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. But I'll just say we had a 3-minute cutscene, so technically this wasn't that long. So anyway, just to wrap up my intro, I am beyond thrilled to be playing this for you guys. I hope you are thrilled to experience it with me. I've been planning on playing this for a while and looking forward to playing this for you guys for a long time. So whether you are a newcomer to this game or to just this genre, you've never played a strategy RPG before, or, whether you are a veteran of the genre and or a veteran of this game specifically, I hope there will be something for you. I have a pretty laid back personality, so like I said, this isn't a walkthrough, it's semi-blind playthrough. Some things I'll get immediately, some things I'm gonna fuck up. As long as you're willing to laugh with me and just enjoy the experience in the journey, then I think all of us will have a good time and be pretty happy from start to finish. So, okay, let's dive right in. The first couple of things that I always like to do when beginning any game, not just this one, is tinker with the options a little bit. So I'm going to start with the cursor speed. I personally like things to be a little bit faster. I'm not going to have everything just blast on past us at the 5 speed, but we're going to bump the cursor speed up to 4. Message speed, gosh, I kind of want everything to come out a bit faster, so I'm going to put that one on 5. And I think this will be good for me. Navigation, I will leave on for now. I always turn vibration off. I don't personally like it. If you want it on, here's where you'll change that. And as for the sound output, I really don't know why anyone would ever choose mono over stereo, but again, here is the place for you to mess with that. So, tutorial. I'm sure you're curious, why is there a tutorial option before you even start the game? Well, if you do recall, about 6 or 7 minutes ago, maybe a little bit longer ago, I told you guys one of the reasons I predict the game wasn't as successful is just because its learning curve is extremely high due to all of the variables that support you either being successful or will weigh you down and pull you into complete and utter failure. There's just a lot to this game. Some of it is explained, I think, exceptionally well, but some of it is kind of, I think, left to you to bumble through and figure out on your own. So whether you consider yourself the type of person that likes a challenge, you like solving puzzles and figuring things out, you might enjoy the way information's presented in this game. But if you like a little bit more hand-holding or things to be cut and dry and very clear-cut, this might not be the game for you. So again, I'm encouraging you guys to go to Game FAQs or Wikipedia or anywhere to read up on the game and determine whether or not you want to buy it for yourself. A new copy can be pretty expensive, but you can find these used for like $20 on Amazon or eBay. So you won't run a pretty penny, and it's not a huge loss if you buy it and don't like it. But hopefully I can save you that gamble by you just watching me play. Anyway, the tutorial is here because there is a lot to learn about. Alara is the lovely lass at the top who says, what would you like to know about? So I am going to tell you guys that I think how I want to do this is maybe occasionally reference the tutorial. I can't remember if we have the option of accessing this in the game itself, but I am going to hold off. Maybe at the start of each recording session, I can read through a few of these tabs just so we can get a bit more understanding about what we're undertaking, but I'm not going to be doing that right now. We'll hold off. Maybe at the start of our next recording session, we'll read through the coin find, but I think the game will allow us to access this later on, so we don't need to worry about it now. So that's it. We looked at settings, we talked a little about tutorial, and have a rough plan in mind. I don't know. Like I said, it's up in the air if we want to mess around with it. I don't have a game to continue, so we're just going to launch forward into new game, baby. And we have the option here to enter our main character's name. And oh, you guys, kind of a random thought, but just occurred to me. Some of you are probably thinking, what are you playing this on? Well, I am playing the original PlayStation 1 version. Like I said, this is the one that came out in 2001. And although I have never played it, or I don't think I've ever even seen it played, but I know the game was ported to the Nintendo DS. I'm not sure if they changed too much. I know they I'm pretty sure, I shouldn't say 100%, but I'm pretty sure that they did change the portraits of characters. So they gave them some new graphics and maybe they lowered the difficulty, but again, you can read all about that online. But I do know for a fact that there was a Nintendo DS port, and pretty sure they upscaled some of the visuals, or at least the portraits of characters. So anyway, now jumping back into this version that we're playing together, PlayStation 1, thanks Max 5, thanks Atlas, let's roll. We're gonna keep the name as a standard. I don't tend to change the names of video game characters. That's just me. So Faz it is. We're gonna end and proceed. Let's do this game. So 3,000 years after the pact between the elemental spirits and the humans, the ancient spirit will return and engulf the earth in a great calamity. Behold, he who bears my blood and that of Sarnus will rise from Cursilius. Together with the 6 Hoshigami, he will vanquish the spirit and restore peace to the earth. Wow. That's a bit ominous and powerful, but we're in Chapter 1, the continent of Mardius. The land that was formerly Ixia had divided into 3 countries. Nightweld, the kingdom in direct descent from Ixia. Gerald, characterized by its geographic diversity. And the Valamian Empire. Ooh. Kind of cool that they're giving us a visual to accompany the information there. So this is the Neo-Ixian year 3030, or 3030. Proposed by Fernandez, the Valamian Empire made an unexpected attack on Gerald. Not cool, taking Fort Hugo in 3 days. Those assholes, Fernandez. The Valamian army advanced on Nightweld and crushed their oppositions. Having no other choice, Nightweld signed a peace treaty accepting the captured territory as Valem's. In recognition of his achievements, Fernandez was appointed as premier of the Valamian Empire. People were awed by the devastating effect of coin finds as instruments of war. So Neo-Ixian year 3037, heavy taxes and forced labor were placed on people who lived in towns occupied by Valem. Riots broke out as the result, but were suppressed by the Valamian police force. People lived in fear as they succumbed to Valem's reign of terror. Mercenaries emerged in Nightweld as if spurred by the underground anti-Valame movement. They spread to other parts of the continent. Something. Game, why you scroll so fast? Neo-Ixian year 3045. Valame breaks the peace treaty and resumes their invasion on Nightweld. A new legend is born. Can't wait. As a youth of Nightweld becomes involved in the war. Oh, who could this youth be? We'll never know. Actually, we will know. So Aus, capital of Nightweld. I guess this is Chapter 1. We'll just assume Chapter 1, yeah? But before we launch forward into any of the dialogue and the actual gameplay, I'm gonna part ways with you guys here. So we were able to knock out a nice intro, take a look at some of the introductory menus, and as we kickstart episode number 2, we'll actually be ready to tackle the gameplay itself and hopefully learn a bit more about the game, about the world, and about the characters within. So thank you again for watching. My name is Rabbit, and this is my semi-blind Let's Play of Hoshigami Ruining Blue Earth for the PlayStation 1. So keep that in mind. We are not tackling, I think it's called Hoshigami Remix on the Nintendo DS. So again, I hope you guys are as thrilled as I am to be undertaking this together. I am genuinely looking forward to it. So I'll see you in episode number 2.